Greetings. My name is Dennis Kirban. I was inducted into the Pontiac Hall of Fame 2024. Unfortunately, I didn't make it for the ceremony that was held at the Steve Ames Pontiac event out in Norwalk, Ohio. But I did pick up my award last week at Pipes Exhaust. This thing is absolutely stunning. This is all made in solid granite. It weighs almost 10 pounds. I mean, right now I think there's only like 30-some people that have been inducted into the Pontiac Hall of Fame. It's all done by votes. I'm very appreciative to all the people that voted for me. I got in my last year being eligible, and also one of the living ones that got into the Pontiac Hall of Fame. Which is pretty incredible since I sold the GTO business in the mid-1990s to the parent company of Performance Years and Cold Case. My membership number for the GTO Club is number 44. Many of you read my articles that I wrote over the years for The Legend, which is their publication. I'm probably one of the oldest members with that low number, 44. This is my office in our home. That is all collectible items. I'm going to walk around a little bit. Actually, this typewriter here is my mother's IBM Selectric. I'll tell you, it's the best thing to type envelopes. Forget about the computers. I'm going to show you some of the unique stuff I have. Most of my focus, of course, is GTO, Hurst, and of course the Turbo Buicks, as many of you know. There's an original, very old Hurst banner. And this is, if you're into Hurst wheels, this here is the Holy Grail. This is the original layered artwork of the Hurst wheel in the original frame that was in George Hurst's office for many years. And there's an original lid that the two wheels would come in, signed by Bill Campbell, which was the engineer part of the partnership. Linda Vaughn's signature is here. And Pat Flannery, I think, is one of these signatures, which is the original Miss Hurst. This gives you an idea. There's the original Hurst can that the Hurst wheels would come in. I have that signed too. Anytime you can get a signature, an autograph from a person, they may not be famous right away, but it's worth getting their autograph because you never know, when their time on Earth is up. So you just, if you get a chance to get an autograph, you should get it. There's the Hurst wheel, one of the later ones, 18-inch, I think, or 19. You can see the vast difference. Like in continuing this video, one of the things I was probably most known for was our monthly GTO news report and parts listing. According to my records, I started this sometime in the early spring of 1979, and it ran up to the late 1990s. Every month, it was a subscription thing. Matter of fact, I used to include my parents on the subscription thing, and when they passed away, I got all the whole month, all the issues I had sent them. But what's nice about these is you can compare the prices from like when the cars were in the 1980s and all. The prices of some of the parts I used to sell, like the Tri-Power, the AM/FM radios, the original Rally 1 wheels and such. This was a plaque that my help made up many years ago. Trey worked for us, and Big Bill was my mechanic. And then they had these quotes: "Don't forget, tomorrow's another work day. Good shroud painting weather, Trey." The shrouds were very popular. It was one of the most popular items we ever made. UPS is here. What? It's this early? No one will ever accuse you of being bright. Do you know what you're doing? Good thinking, Bill, and so on. And of course, I have to give a shout out to my wife, Eileen. The standard joke on the front cover of all my GTO newsletters was something related to spelling. I would say no spelling errors, which was an April Fool's joke. Done in a hurry, so many mistakes. I can't remember. I did this every month. I put something different. Few spelling errors, more than usual. By far the most spelling errors to date. I mean, even though when I post on Facebook, I hardly correct my spelling errors. And my wife was on the Honor Society in high school. I was at the other end of the spectrum, having to go to summer school just to get into 12th grade. I never realized that I'd be basically a writer. I mean, I started writing when I landed in Vietnam. I was first a photographer for the 17th Aviation Group, and then I got promoted to being the editor of the newspaper for the 17th Aviation Group. So that's where I got my background. So doing the newsletter, you know, was nothing new to me. Of course, spelling errors was a big part of what I kind of highlighted on my newsletters, but people didn't mind it. I mean, that's what we did, and that's how we started. And I always had a supply of parts. I had a lot of people send me parts. I would buy their parts because I had the name to remarket this stuff. I was always fair with the people that were selling me parts, and you know, without them and the subscribers, it all came together for a long time. One of the unique things I have, my son did when he was in school. Now, I don't know how old he was because he didn't date anything, but he made, let's see, this would be in the early 70s. He made these ceramic little GTOs. They're definitely one of a kind. They look like the 67 models, but I mean, you can see, I mean, he's very successful today doing body work. These look kind of crude by what he does today, but I've kept them all these years. Another thing I had that's unique, I picked this up many, many years ago. I think this was at one of the shows in Western Pennsylvania. It's all handmade, and it was a 64 GTO. Of course, that's the car that started the business for me, was the 64 GTO. And it's, I don't know what it's made out of, plastic or something like that. And of course, the really unique thing Daryl made for me years ago was this sign, Dennis Kirban GTOs, with a GTO coming out. And again, he must have made this in ceramic class. I mean, I'm sure he must have scored pretty high in that class compared to some of his other classes. And yes, he did drive a GTO to school in 1968. And then, like I said about autographs, I have my granddaughter filming this, by the way. This is signed by Bill Campbell, and that one's signed by Linda Vaughn. Many of you probably have these 67 or 66 GTOs in your collection. They made the set of them. You can see the big tie-in with Hurst. There's an original Judge emblem, and of course I collect the little ones. Here's the Holy Grail. These two models right here, this is what sat on George Hurst's desk. One's the Hemi under glass, and one's a Tornado behind it, and then there's another one in the middle there. And of course, there's an original Hurst wheel center, and I have all the different types of caps. Again, I'm trying to focus on GTOs to show people, but everything I have is mixed together. My theory was if it was unusual or rare, I collected it and I've stored it in this room. This is, again, one of one. This is a little hand done when Hurst came out with the shifter for the little Volkswagens, and that would move the arm back and forth. I was good friends with the art director that was the art director there at Hurst for many, many years. It's a shame that Hurst wasn't able to put their name on the shifter that first year in 1964. If we come over here, this is an original ad on the GTO contest car. This was a very popular contest. Hurst made one in conjunction with the 65 GTO. It was a major hit, and there's an original, I guess that was a newspaper ad. I mean, it's the actual size. I had it framed. Now, I was fortunate, like I said, and bought all this original items many, many years ago. And then some of you might recall, I did the mug set that features an actual factory photo of every year GTO, 64 and up to 74. Even though my main business focused originally on the 64 to 67, I did get into some of the 69 and 70 models, but not too many of them. I never thought there'd be much value in them. And then here again, we got one of a kind. This is the T-handle Linda Vaughn would hold on to, and that's the banner. And that's the original blue wheel that was on the 67 catalog. And here we have various shifters. Again, and there's an unusual piece. Surf City, which is a detail supplier, they put the 69 Judge on their the plastic sign, and I called them, oh, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, and asked how much could I buy a sign for. I always collected signs, and they said, we'll send you one free. I said, really? I said, I want it. I said, I'll put it in my collection. I said, I'm not buying it to resell, even though my business is that business of reselling stuff. I've made it a point to keep some of the most of my rare stuff, but I'm very appreciative for getting this honor, getting into the Pontiac Hall of Fame. I'm very grateful for that. I guess I can use that as a resume. I won't have to fill out any resumes if I ever need a job. But the splitters was the first thing I made for the GTO, the 64, 65 splitters. I remember going to a Pontiac show, and this was in the late 70s, and people were asking $100, $150 for original splitters in the box, or the GM box. I'm thinking, these things are really crude for that kind of money. Now, remember back then, the early GTOs were, $1,500, and I said, geez, I should be able to get them made. And if you've read my stories over the years, yes, we had them made. The tooling to make those 4 clamshells that actually go underneath the car, you hardly even see it, was $10,000. But once I made them, I was off and running, so to speak, and I was smart enough to wholesale everything we had made. We wholesaled to all the other companies, so there'd be no duplication of parts. And I never put my name on anything. I wasn't interested in the glory. I wasn't interested in being a big company. A lot of companies grew very big from there. I always wanted to stay small, and I did other things. I had a towing business for 20 years. I did my dad's printing. I would travel with him throughout the country. And, it's just one thing led to another, and I've been very fortunate all these years. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, there's the Hurst wheel cufflinks. If you're into Hurst, like I said, Hurst got really lucky. They really hit the home run by teaming up with Pontiac. And then Buick got on board. Chevrolet, I don't think ever got on board. They stuck with their Muncie shifters. Again, I don't know what more I can say, but I really appreciate it, getting that award. And with that, I'm going to close. Your health is your wealth. Thank you.